possibly have this removed from your credit report. But the fact of the matter is, though, if you're filing a false claim with the police, then that is an absolute crime. And if you get caught doing that, there are fines associated with it as well as potential jail time. So you did all that to repair your credit, to restore your credit, to fix your credit, and now you in county lockup. Maybe you're only in there for 6 months, maybe you're in there for 2 years, but who wants to give up any of their time over some credit? And I don't know what your credit's going to be like when you walk in the prison or in the jail because you had some fraud on your own personal credit, your own personal credit score, credit report. So make sure that you go about doing it the right way. You want to get it done the right way, contact me again, 800 creditscoreman at gmail.com. You can call me at 312-600-5855. I will absolutely do my best to help you out in the situation that you're in, to do it legally and to do it the absolute right way. All right, so I got one more one that I want to talk to you about as well. Let me jump back to the disputes again. When you make a dispute on your credit report, when you make that dispute on your credit report, make sure that you keep the timeline as well. I meant to mention this. Make sure you keep the timeline. That's why I like to do it online. It's an absolute record for it. Typically, you're going to get an email right back, so it shows the date that you sent it off and all of those things. Make sure you do that. If you don't do it by mail, if you don't do it by email, online, and you do it by mail, you want to make sure that you send it certified. It's worth spending the extra dollar, whatever it is, so you know that they received it and somebody actually signed for it. Too many times I've had people tell me that I sent it off and I never heard back. And then you contact, any one of the credit bureaus and they say we never received anything. So make sure that you do that. Make sure you do that when in regards to the disputes. So let's jump to the question of the day right quick. I want to do that. So, of course, the question of the day is brought to you by Cute as a Cupcake, Cupcakery and Bake Shop, where the cupcakes are more than just cute. They're delicious. Cute as a Cupcake is located at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. Make sure you get by Cute as a Cupcake. And look them up online, you guys. Check them out. Look them up online. See if you see something that looks good to you. I guarantee you're going to see something that looks good to you. And everything that I've tasted at Cute as a Cupcake is absolutely delicious. So make sure you do that. So I want to do this question from Dylan, and I don't know where Dylan is from. So, if I don't know where you're from, then I just make up a place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick that Dylan is from Nevada. He's going to be from Las Vegas, Nevada. So in his email to me, and of course, you can email me as well, 800 creditscoreman at gmail.com. You can email me your questions. I will answer your question directly to you. Typically, there's a back and forth. I've had a lot of emails this week. So typically, there's a lot of back and forth between us. And then I may answer your question on the show. And you become a part of the 800 Credit Score Man show family. So Dylan was talking about the fact that he just started listening to the show. So welcome to the show. Thank you very much for listening. And he went back and listened to some of the old shows. And so he was listening to Collections, Negotiation Now, that particular show. So he was listening to that one, and he was telling me that he made an agreement to pay off an old debt. So he paid off the old debt with the collection agency. But what he didn't do is make an arrangement with them for them to go ahead and pull that off of his credit report. So he didn't make that arrangement beforehand to do so, and he wants to know what should he do to try to go ahead and get them to remove that from his credit report, even though they did not make that agreement right away. So here's what I said to Dylan and what I always say to people. So since you didn't make that agreement in the first place and up front, the first thing I want you to do is try to get them on the phone. If they were talking to you on the phone and you made your arrangements on the phone, and typically you talk to the same person, hopefully you talk to the same person each time you call in, you hit their extension, and every time you wanted to call in and talk about what the amount was and the date you were going to pay, that you got that information. And hopefully you built some kind of rapport. You built a better rapport with them than you did with any other stranger that might answer that phone. So you want to call and contact that exact person. When you get that person on the phone, you want to ask that person to go back and to remove it from your credit report. Now, they may say, no, we can't do that. Oftentimes, the first person that answers the phone any place may not have the authority or the knowledge that they can actually do that. So you're going to ask them to go ahead and do that. If they say no, they can't do that, then you're going to ask to speak to a supervisor. When you speak to the supervisor, you're going to ask them the same thing. In my experience, what I found is that the supervisors, they talk tough when they don't have to talk to you on the phone. But as soon as you get a customer on the phone, whether the customer is nice or the customer is nasty, then oftentimes they lean a little bit toward the customer and they may be able to help you out. So if that person says that they don't do that, first thing, before you ask for a supervisor, ask them to ask the supervisor. This is the way I do it. Ask them to ask the supervisor, and at the same time say to them, so this way you don't seem like you're trying to go over their head. At the same time, you're going to say, if you're not comfortable asking the supervisor this, I will gladly do so. Please put the supervisor on the phone for me. And you'll see what kind of person they are, if they'll be able to help you out, if they're one of the people that'll be an advocate for you when they go speak to the supervisor or not. You'll be able to tell by the tone of their voice and everything that they say to you about that. So I'm going to say to you, go ahead and do it that way and then speak to the supervisor. And you're going to ask the supervisor the same thing. And you're going to point out that when you got the money, you paid just like you said you would. If they reduced your amount at all, you can even mention in there that, I wanted a bigger reduction, but this is all you could do for me. And I scrounged up that money to make sure that I paid you. So I'm going to ask for you to have it removed from my credit report and see what they say. If they say yes, great. You say, thank you very much. Can you send me something that says you're going to remove it from my credit report? So, because you want to have some kind of proof that they said that they would remove it from your credit report, and give them your email address. At this point, you don't have to worry about them trying to collect on you again. You've already made that payment, so it's okay to provide that information and have them email it to you that they'll have it removed from your credit report. So you'll have that in hand. So you go ahead, you get off the phone. Thank you very much. Get off the phone, and then you wait a few days. Not a few days, because it may take them 2 weeks, a month and a half to actually have it removed and reflected on your credit report. But then you take a look at it. Mark your calendar for you to check your credit report to make sure that it's to see when it's coming off. If it does not come off, now what do you do? So you've already talked to them. They said they take it off. It hasn't come off. If it does not come off your credit report, especially if you got that email in your hand, you don't call them back. You contact the credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and you file a dispute. And you say, hey, these people agreed to remove this from my credit report. And that's what your dispute is. You ask them that. What then the credit bureau will do is they will contact these people yet again and see if they agree to do so. It may respond, they may not respond, but however it is, you have proof in your hand that they said they would remove it from your credit report. So that's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do if you have this particular issue and you didn't ask them beforehand and get that agreement. I want you to do it in that order. Call them and ask them and see if they'll do it. Talk to the supervisor if need be, and then you're going to contact the credit bureau if it does not come off your credit report. But you've got to give it at least 30 days for the credit bureau to do their thing and all that stuff. You've got to give it at least 30 days to do so. And since I'm talking days, 30, 45 days, whatever it is, I don't want you guys doing this at the last minute. If you're working on your credit simply because you want to buy a home, relatively soon, in the next 6 months or whatever, you need to start doing these things right away. If you're thinking about buying a home right now, you need to start working on your credit, and you're not going to buy your home till next year. You need to start working on your credit right now to get everything straight beforehand. So your credit score has the time to be reflected in all the good, positive things that you've done. So it has that time to be reflected, and you'll be able to go ahead and get and get that home at a better rate. All right. So make sure you do that. So again, thank you so much, Dylan. I appreciate the back and forth that we had. I'm calling you Dylan from Nevada. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it. And again, if you have questions, contact me at 800 Credit Score Man at gmail.com. Dylan, you are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. Thank you very much. The question of the day is brought to you by Cute a Cupcake. Cupcakery and Bake Shop, where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. Get by there and tell them that the 800 Credit Score Man sent you. All right, so let's jump back into the show. All right, so let me do a couple of more shout outs. I got to shout out Latrice Murdoch. Happy birthday to you, Latrice. She celebrated her birthday a couple days ago. Happy birthday. Deidre Lloyd, got to give you a big happy birthday shout out as well. A member of Sigma Gamma Rho. So happy birthday to you, Deidre. I want to give a shout out to Ty Carter. Ty's birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday to you, Ty Carter. I got to give another shout out to Jeff Lewis as well. Jeff, happy birthday to you. Kevin Bradley, you get a happy birthday shout out, my man. I think today is actually Kevin Bradley's birthday. And then Nikki Stallworth, happy birthday to you as well, Nikki. So let's finish out the show. So we talked about the CPN numbers. Just don't do it, all right? Filing a fraudulent claim for identity theft when it hasn't happened to you, don't do that either. It's only going to get you in trouble. So let's talk about trade lines. A lot of people want to know what's going on with the whole trade lines thing. So let's talk about that. Trade lines, if you don't know, is where you do almost like a CPN number. So, you go and you purchase it from somebody. You purchase it from somebody that has an actual trade line. They've created a trade line. It could be whatever. It could be, like a office supply type store kind of thing, or any kind of thing. They create a furniture store or whatever. And so they place that on your credit report, and they place it on your credit report, say, as if you've had this particular trade line or account for like 4 or 5 years, and you've paid positively on it the whole 4 or 5 years. Now, any positive account on your credit report is going to be helpful for you. It's going to help your credit score. So they place it on your credit report, even though they place it, what month is this? They place it in the month of February 2018. It may reflect that you've had it for the last 5 years. So that's what they're doing with the trade lines. You can purchase them. Again, I've heard numbers for it costs you $1,000 to $2,500 to buy you a trade line. Now, this trade line, quote unquote, expires. So it's not going to stay on your credit report forever. It's going to stay on your credit report for whatever deal you make for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever it is. It'll stay on your credit report. Oftentimes people use this because they're ready to try to get something. So if you're trying to get a mortgage, or you're trying to start a business and you're a truck driver, you want to buy your own truck. And, so those trucks are, a lot of money, and you need to have a better credit score. So you buy a trade line, and within that 6-month time frame, when your score is up, elevated, then you go ahead and you do your purchase or what have you, while that trade line is on there and it's helping you. That's one thing. Now, is this legal or illegal? From the research that I did, it's really a gray area. So I didn't find a law that said that paying for a trade line is illegal. But as I mentioned earlier, talking about restoring your credit the right way, this is not the right way to do it. Because when the trade line falls off, then your credit score is going to just drop back down, because you're not going to have that positive account anymore. So I want to caution you guys to be careful about adding a trade line to your credit report as well. And again, it costs a lot of money, probably more money or just as much money as if you would have gone in and just apply for credit and try to correct your credit the correct way. It costs a lot of money to do this. So make sure that you are dealing with somebody that's reputable anyway, no matter what kind of business you're trying to do. Make sure it's somebody reputable that can actually help you restore your credit. And I'm here for you, 800 Credit Score Man. And so you can contact me, 800 Credit Score Man at gmail.com. I'll absolutely help you out without doing the CPN number, without advising you to go and make a fraudulent claim for identity theft, and absolutely without adding trade lines to your credit report. Now, however, some of you guys that are astute and have been listening, when you're thinking, well, what's the difference between doing this trade line deal versus doing an authorized user? I can see your mind going that way. There's a big difference through that. Authorized user is a credit card. It's somebody that you actually know. It's not a company. Actually, I think it's illegal. So